Gotta say good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are all over the world. I am Seneca Parker, your host for Oh Happy Bay, the podcast. I have two very special people in front of me right now, and I'd like to introduce them to you or let them introduce themselves to you. And first to my right.
Hi, I'm Monee Brown, and I'm a retired probation officer with Alameda County, which is Oakland, California. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you. And I'm also a book author.
Okay.
I'm LaRon Armstrong, former chief of police for the city of Oakland and current candidate for Oakland City Council member at large.
Wow. Okay. Both of you have two incredible things that you've been doing, and you're putting your time and energy in. So we want to tell the world about what that is. We'll start with you, Monee. You have a series of books.
Yes.
Yes. And could you tell us what those books are and how they developed and came about being?
Oh, sure. As I stated, I was a probation officer in Oakland, California for 22 years. And while I was a PR, I saw this phenomenon, which was children were talking to people online through their cell phones, gaming devices, and now school computers. And so what came from that is three books. And this is Nia, but the title of the book is called Operation Don't Chat Back. And Nia, her purpose is to inform parents about the need of checking and monitoring their kids' devices. And in this book, Nia's chatting with someone through her cell phone. And then we have, thank you, LaRon. We have Ready, Set, Game, and that is Nico. Nico is chatting with someone through his gaming device. Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, and Roblox are one of the three games that are encouraging children to talk to online strangers. And then lastly, because I have since went back, got my master's, and my thesis was on the cyber pimp. And this is called The Cyber Pimp, What Every Parent Should Know to Safeguard Their Children from Online Predators. The reality is unconsciously, we are parents, we are oversharing our children online.
Information about our children.
Information about our children.
Right. Such as
where they go to school, or things like, hey, they graduated from Scott's high school and here's their Venmo. I want parents to understand that our pimps are paying our children through Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle.
Wow. Okay. Well, as we know, students right now are being given laptops in school. In homes, we're giving them iPhones at early ages. So what do you say to a parent about safeguarding their children from some of the things you talk about, the predators and the pimps, the cyber pimps?
Yes.
What do you stress?
I love that. What I can say to parents is when you provide your child a phone or a gaming device, you should write down rules or explain to them the rules, which is one, I need to know the passwords. I'm going to be going through your phone all the time to not only keep you safe, but me safe as well. Also that I want the education system to know that they also have provided access to our children during COVID. All our children were online. They provided Chromebooks, they provided Wi-Fi and email. But many of our school districts didn't provide ways to keep our children safe. For instance, I have a kid who had a school computer. I didn't have a way to get into it. I don't know who was emailing her. So I would like to see the school districts, one, have a conversation with me, as well as provide education to not only parents, but also kids. And lastly, give us a daily log of all the sites our children go on in the school computer.
Wow. Okay. So LaRon Armstrong actually used to work with you in the same field. LaRon, why don't you tell us about what that was like and how you guys came together to meet?
Yeah, I mean, her experience at the probation department. I started my law enforcement career at the Alameda County Probation Department as well. And I know how important it is that we provide tools for young people's safety. And so really happy to see what Monee is doing with her books and seeing how she's out here trying to provide safety tips for families and schools. I think that's critically important. This is an area I think that's new for all of us, exploring how our young people are using technology. As a father of 4 and 3 daughters that
Wow.
were, online all the time, a lot of what Ms. Brown just spoke of, I wasn't aware of. As a parent, I didn't know that I should be watching, who my children are interacting with online. When my son was playing video games, which he did all the time, and I'd hear him yelling in there on those headphones, I never knew who he was yelling at and what they were saying back to him. And so, really, I thought I'm being educated as I sit here and learn about the importance of making sure we put parameters around these technology pieces. And I think her books obviously speak to awareness and hopefully making parents aware in a way that even children can understand that these things, are places where predators lie. And so for me, as somebody has been, in law enforcement for 28 years and spent 24 years at the Oakland Police Department, that's been my focus. It was one of the things that was important to me was how we dealt with trafficking. One of the saddest things you see in Oakland is when you go down International Boulevard and you see the young underage girls who are out there. It really says to you, we have a real problem here. And so, appreciate, what Monee is doing is bringing us awareness and making sure that we as parents and as community members that we are aware of where these predators are lying and how they are reaching our children, right? Because that could be their first form of contact of reaching these kids is through these technology pieces that we provide, right? I mean, it's hard for us to believe that we're giving our children these openings to be exploited, and so critically important. Great way of communicating her message through her books, and for me, as somebody who's focused around public safety, these things matter to me.
Wonderful. So we talk about pimping. Pimping is probably the oldest game that any one of us know, from pimping and prostitution. Now we are actually dealing with it at a whole totally different level, something we don't see. We used to see the pimps ride down the street in a certain kind of car, dressed a certain kind of way. And now we don't have that luxury. And this is probably one of the most devastating ways to have your child put into trafficking. They get fed money over their phone and their devices, and then they end up in some bad situations with people who are just really bad people at most, for the most part. Now, when we talk about the gaming was not created for kids. It was created by adults for adults. We happen to let our kids get in there because they like it. But when, Chief Armstrong was saying he heard the yelling in the back, over the headphones and so forth, those are mostly adult men. Yeah. And the predators. And they have a way of communicating with our kids that's just totally ungodly. Some of the things they say, and they're gaming. So thank you again for what you do. Chief Armstrong, hey, you are Oakland. You are so Oakland. How Oakland are you?
I don't know if you get more Oakland than me. You can get as much as me, but you can't be more.
So when we talk about Oakland, we're in Jacaranda Square right now. We want to say thanks to Scott's Restaurant for all that they do for us. They open up their doors and they give us carte blanche up in here because of you, Chief. And I am so appreciative of that. What part of Oakland did you grow up in?
I grew up in West Oak, deep West Oakland, known as the Lower Bottom.
Okay.
It's a place where the Black Panthers were formed. It is a place of much history in West Oakland. And so it's an area that is near and dear to me. Obviously, it's where my family's from. And so 4 generations in West Oakland. And so it's just really, for me, my home.
4 generations. That's some mamas and daddies and some grandmamas and granddaddies, right? And we talk about where we are as a city. This is a happy place. I love Oakland. Oakland is so beautiful. If you just take a look around us, it is so very beautiful. Right now, we're in a little turmoil because of, the fact that we don't have a hound watching the hen house in most cases. So people are just doing some reckless things. What is your suggestion to young people about how to turn that thing around? Because we're going to be looking at and listening to you attentively. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason I even decided to run for city council was to continue the work that I was doing even as police chief, which was focusing on helping young people find alternatives to making bad decisions in our community. The one project that I brought to Oakland in 2012 was the ceasefire project,
Wow.
which was really uh, an initiative that really brought both law enforcement, community, and community-based organizations together to try to support those who were involved in violence and really allowing them to have alternatives to incarceration, alternatives to a life of violence. And really by doing that, we were able to fund programs that provided life coaches to help people get, control of the things that they hadn't had a chance to manage, whether you're talking about getting a driver's license, right? Like that seems like normal for most of us, but for some people that have been involved in certain lifestyles, they've never had a driver's license. When you talk about young men that have children that have fallen back on child support, how can we help them get their child support up to speed so that they can go out and get a job and not feel like every dime that they make is going to be taken away? So trying to remove barriers to help them readjust and sort of get back into mainstream society in a positive way. And so that was really, what our focus is. And now in this role as, potentially a council member, looking at ways that we can open up opportunities for young people to be engaged in positive activities. How do we reinvest in our recreation centers and programs so that young people can have something to do? The thing that you hear, no matter where you go across the city from young people, is that they have nothing to do. They will tell you there's nothing to do and there's nowhere to go. And so we as a city have to find a way to invest in safe spaces for young people to do activities that they enjoy doing. I mean, when we talk about the city of Oakland sponsoring gaming tournaments, right? We know that our young boys love to play games, but if there was an incentive to win something, whether it be monetary or scholarship or some computer or whatever the case may be, I'm sure you'd have hundreds of participants, but you'd also be able to have these young men in safe spaces. When you talk about the young women that are so artistic and so creative, figuring out a way to hone in on their skills and maybe find ways to give them spaces where they can do what they enjoy doing and opening it up the opportunity for them to game too, because young girls game too, right? So, and so just we as a city have not invested in programs for young people in many years. And so we wonder why they wild out or why they run the streets or why sideshow is the most fun activity they think is going on in Oakland. I mean, that is, that's the problem. How do we give them something other than that? To entertain themselves. You go to some cities like New Orleans and some other major cities that have actual clubs for kids that are below 18. Right. And it's safe environments where young people can go have fun, and be around people their age, and not be exposed to adult activities. So I think we as a city have to reconsider where we invest our money, but making sure that we have activities for young people be able to feel like they're a part of this community and that this community has something for them. That's what my focus will be if I, have the pleasure of winning this upcoming election.
Okay. I'm going to say this: vote, 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 and vote again. A lot of us sit around and complain about situations and where we're at, but many of us haven't even registered to vote, adults as well as, young adults. So I'm going to encourage everybody. If you know anybody in your family, they're not registered to vote, bring them a voting packet. It's really simple to fill out and become a part of the solution as opposed to part of the problem.
Yeah. We're in a unique time. I mean, because in California now, even if you're formerly incarcerated, you can vote. Yeah. Right. So really this right that was taken away from people for many years have been given back, and we have to take advantage of it. So it doesn't matter if you've been to jail before, if you've been convicted before, you can vote now. So you need to exercise your voice. You need to appreciate that you have a vote to help make a determination as to who leads your community. So I hope you know how important that is. I mean, I think as Black people, we sometimes think the civil rights movements and movements of that nature, voting rights movements are that far removed, and they're not. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, it's not that long. Your grandparents are 50, 60 years old. So, I mean, your grandparents and great grandparents were a part of helping us get the right to vote. We now don't appreciate it.
Mhm.
When you don't vote, showing that you don't appreciate all the work that your ancestors did in order to get you to this place. And so we do have to show appreciation by saying we've been given this right to vote. We're going to exercise it. We're going to
Okay.
utilize it.
So we take this opportunity to vote, and we want to vote for you. Who are you, and what are you doing, and where do we check the box?
Well, I'm LaRon Armstrong. I'm running for city council member at large in the city of Oakland. You can vote for me on your ballot, your upcoming ballot for city council. What a city council member at large means? It means that Oakland has 8 city council members. 7 of them represent districts, but there's one council member that represents the entire city. And that's the city council member at large, and that's the position that I'm running for. A position that is similar to the mayor. They have a citywide overview responsibility, and they can work on problems throughout the city of Oakland. I've been someone that's been in a role as a police chief, so I've always been used to working with the entire city of Oakland. So for me, this was just the best fit. Continue to do what I've been doing, working with the entire city of Oakland. So want to continue to do that. Hopefully I'm doing it in the council or some other role that the city might have. We'll see.
Well, I want to applaud you both
Thank you.
because the work that you do, trying to just guide a community like Oakland. Oakland is one of the most diverse and unique places I've ever been to in the world. And it has to be ran a certain way in order to keep peace. I believe that you're how many years as a police chief in Oakland?
2.5 years as police chief, and 24 years as a police officer.
Okay. So that's you already have what it takes to be able to educate us on what the next moves are and how best to achieve them. Thank you, Monee, for your books. And where can they find your books at?
www.notourkids, and it's KNOTOURKIDZ.com. And I'm also on Amazon. And I want to leave our viewers with this. I want viewers to understand that back in probably when me and LaRon was growing up, it was the Cadillac pimp.
Mhm.
Parents were our parents worried about pulling up to the kids' schools, men, primarily they were men. In 2024, our phones are considered Maseratis. The iPads are the top Bentleys, and that pimps are now children. That your children can be pimped by another young person. The pimp can be in your child's school. And so understand it starts online. They can be gaming with someone that is their same age. That can mean negative things for them. So I want parents to understand they're not just adults, and that as parents, our jobs is to protect them online and offline.
Well, I also know that pimps aren't just men.
Yes.
Now, they're not just men. When we look at some of the crimes that are being done, and right now, currently, a lot of those crimes are being done and orchestrated by women and with young boys or young men who are not strong enough to say no to carry them out. So, congratulations. I'm voting for you. I'm putting that on the record, and I'm also voting for you in your books. So thank you guys so much. And remember to like and subscribe and share this so that other people can find out about what's happening in Oakland, the beauty of the Bay. And thank you again, both of you. And we'll talk real soon.
Thank you, Seneca.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Thanks.